Tree Crops Development Authority asɔeɛ omunya omutumidie efiri mmarahyɛbagya fie ɛwɔ afe mpem 2,023. Botae ne sɛ ɛkwampa ebetim afa so ama nneɛma bi te sɛ cashew, coconut, nneɛma bi a ɛkeka ho no yebetim abɔ ho ban etimi de nhyehyɛ papa betimi ato kwan mu ama akuafoɔ na ɛbo a ɛba dwama so de ɔmotɔ de ɔmokɔtɔn obi emfiri akyire mfa bi ɛnkɔ baabi. Ɛna sabre ɔmatimi anam entiteɛ so ama nipa aduwɔtwe enum anya entiteɛ a sabre ɔmo ne bɛboa ma saa dwumadie wei no atimi akɔso ne esi nneɛma bi a na ɛnkoye ho ban. Dwumadie entiteɛ ɛkɔɔ so ɛwɔ aposifo asoɛyɛ ɛwɔ Patase police depot. Wei ne ɛbrɛ edi kan a saa enipa yɛyi ɔmo a ɔmbɛdi saa dwumadie ɛde aboa ɔman Ghana. Abra ene ɔmo de ɔmo dwumadie ne ɛkɔ awieye na ɔmo bɔ nsra akyɛ de ɔmo kosuaeɛ ɛwɔ nteteɛ mu no. Ɛyɛ ɔsoafo a wɔhwɛ kuayɛ ensɛm so Honorable Eric Opoku ɛne nananom afei ɔpani kwankyerɛfo a wɔda TCDA ano Dr. Andy Osei Okra ɔmo ɛna hwɛ ma nsabo nyinaa etimi kɔɔ so. Abra na edipa bɛsɛ aduɔtwe enum yi teteɛ kakra ɔmo faa mu no ɔmo yɛ yikyerɛ akyerɛ ɔmo mpanimfo.
In open order. It was dress. Left down. Right. Eyes. Shoot.
Dr. Andy Osei Okra ema akwa abansem yodi nsem sei atudwa efa baabi a omaba bedru.
Thank you very much for that energy. Honorable Minister, I'm deeply honored by your presence here today for the momentous occasion like this. On behalf of the board and management of the Tree Crop Development Authority, I personally and everybody welcome you especially to this historic passing out ceremony of our inaugural TCDA compliance and enforcement officers here at the Kumasi Police Training Center. After rigorous 2 weeks of intensive and disciplined training, TCDA is proud to announce the official passing out of the first cohort of 85 compliance and enforcement officers, comprised of 15 females and 70 males, drawn from diverse professional and academic backgrounds that are critical to driving the authorities' strategic focus. Honorable Minister, the training has 12 models comprising the following. One, physical endurance and drills, as you saw. Basic agronomy of 6 of our crops, 6 tree crops. TCDA legal education and compliance monitoring. Public order and media engagement. Intelligence gathering and professional ethics. Customer service and stakeholder relations. Financial and auditing management in the public sector. Conveyance certification system, and then field practicals. And then we ended up with evaluation exams. Compliance and enforcement form the backbone of the new TCDA strategy, and we have coded it to 3+1 as a strategy. And this strategy unlocks the effective implementation of the legislative instrument LI 2471, which hinges on 4 main pillars. One, expansion. The resources we have given and we have to expand them in terms of acreage, and when it comes to financial resources to meet the demands of the economy, expansion is one. Two is credibility. Credibility, without it we cannot do anything. The third, which is very critical, is visibility. TCDA, when we took over, was not known in this country under your leadership. So we have taken it as a visibility. And the +1 is what has brought us here. The +1 is called enforcement. We have everything that it takes to enforce the laws to let Ghana and the people of Ghana benefit. Honorable Ministers, it's crucial to emphasize that TCDA, by law, is the sole authority responsible for regulating 6 tree crops activities, setting their minimum producer prices, and permitting the trade from start to the end. TCDA works closely with relevant regulatory agencies, stakeholders, and value chain actors to safeguard the tree crop industry. An example is what we have seen, the collaboration between TCDA and Ghana Police, as we are seeing here. The Compliance Enforcement Unit will serve as a key catalyst in operationalizing and executing the TCDA LI 2471 in realizing the mandate of regulating and developing. Honorable Minister, established by an Act of Parliament at 10/10/2019 LI 2471 in 2023, TCDA is mandated to regulate and develop and promote 6 selected tree crops: cashew, coconut, oil palm, rubber, mango, and shea. Cashew, coconut, oil palm, rubber, mango, and shea. And we coded it C-crops to make it easier to remember the 6 crops. It's called C-crops. Can you help me? C-crops. Please, let's repeat. C-crops. So whenever we hear C-crops, Honorable Minister, that is your 6 crops that you have under your jurisdiction. So no individual or entity is permitted to operate within these commodities or tree crops without the requisite license from the authority. That is law. The importance of the compliance units in addressing TCDA challenges. Today, Honorable Minister, as I can assure you that the solution of enforcing TCDA regulation and addressing challenges such as unfair trade, poor agronomic practices, no traceability system, less value addition attention, illegal import and export, non-payment of levies and taxes, poor product quality management is firmly in place with our gallant compliance and enforcement task force that you see today. This task force will work in close collaboration with our sister agencies such as customs, the police, as I've indicated, national security, district assemblies, and other state institutions to bring sanity into the tree crop sector. The passing out of these 85 officers signifies another strategic intervention by the board and management of TCDA to strengthen investor confidence and protect the local industry. From the farmer in Jobo, from the farmer in Jobo, Jama North, to the woman processing share in Zavulugu in the northern region. Now, just to give you a few idea of the duties and responsibilities of the compliance and enforcement team for registration and licensing of actors and entities, inspection of licensing and operational permits, inspection of trade and accreditation standards, issuance of conveyance certificate for transportation of tree crops, checking and inspection of TCDA conveyance certificate and branded sacks at TCDA checkpoints on the major roads, collection and management of data from actors and entities, education and enforcement of TCDA regulations. And the last but not the least is checking proof of payment of levies and taxes, among other things. Let me mention here, Honorable Minister, only TCDA has the mandate and of checking and issuing paperwork covering these 6 tree crops on transportation. Our colleagues in police, customs, immigration, assemblies must collaborate with us and ensure this workable and ensure sanity in the system. The issuance of conveyance certificate from TCDA and the use of TCDA branded sacks will stop the over-harassment and extortion of our value customers or stakeholders on our roads. They complain a lot. They are sitting down here and they are looking at my face that they complain a lot on the road. We pass there, they say, hey, we are bringing cocoa, we are taking cocoa away. Meanwhile, it's cashew or cash. Then people started, some bad ones started taking some monies. Now, when you see our conveyance certificates, you see that we have captured everything. And when that one is showed, you know it's coming from Honorable Minister's Ministry and it's authentic, and you have to allow it to go. A message to our new compliance officers, to you, our gallant compliance officers, I call you the COs, passing out today. You are ambassadors of TCDA regulations and values. Branded in your TCDA compliance and enforcement task force, beautifully dressed uniform. You carry the authority's number 1, visibility. Number 2, the credibility. And the third one is the enforcement. The dress you are wearing carries the visibility of TCDA, the credibility of TCDA, and enforcement of TCDA, which they've trained you about that. So you serve with integrity, fairness, and professionalism, and protect the interests of all actors across the value chain. Again, to protect the interests of all actors across the value chain as enshrined in our law.
Mpanimfo a ɔmo nso da dwumadi ano no bi a ɔmo nso yɛ akuafo mpanimfoɔ ɔmo nso no de nsɛm kakra atu dwa abra ene na yɛ ɔmo ani so adi hu sɛ saa bere ɛsɛ ɛpam.
Today marks a significant milestone in operationalizing the regulatory mandate entrusted to the Tree Crops Development Authority under the Tree Crops Development Authority Act 2019, Act 1010, to regulate, develop, and enforce compliance across key tree crops value chains in Ghana. And this, we can find that one if you go on the net, ir.parliament.gh. I'm beginning to situate what we are doing within the laws of Ghana. So we'll see ourselves as people who are enforcing the laws of this country. So graduating officers, you are now custodians of enforcement authority derived from statutory mandate and subordinate legislation under Act 1010 and the Tree Crops Regulations 2023 LI 2471. These instruments empower TCDA to register, license, inspect, monitor, and enforce compliance among value chains actors. For example, persons or companies who engage in the export of raw tree crops without registration and a valid license commit an offense under Section 27 of Act 1010 and Regulation 51 of LI 2471. Such conduct renders them liable on summary conviction and exposes them to the sanctions provided in the regulatory framework, tcda.gov.gh. Let me emphasize this clearly. Enforcement authority carries legal expectations and sanctions that must be applied without prejudice. TCDA officers are required to apply the law uniformly and transparently. Non-compliance with licensing, permit conditions, levy payments, and other regulatory requirements is not merely procedural. It constitutes an offense that may lead to prosecution and penalties as provided by law. This includes actions taken under regulations that prescribe offenses and sanctions for breaches of the regulation regime, tcda.gov.gh. Our legal frameworks does not tolerate selection compliance. The CEO has outlined the mandate, and so I will not do that. The board and management expect that in executing these mandates, you will exercise firmness, fairness, and strict adherence to legal procedures. You must act with the authority vested in you and be prepared to justify your actions in accordance with the law. Accountability and integrity are the twin pillars upon which credible enforcement rests. To the facilitators and officers of the Ghana Police Service, I express my appreciation for shaping these officers in discipline, command responsibility, and operational readiness. Your contribution ensures that TCDA is enforcement cadre is prepared to uphold the rule of law with professionalism and resolve. So, graduating officers, as you take up your duties, remember that enforcement is not an abstract power, but a public duty grounded in statute, guided by regulation, and accountable to the people of Ghana. Uphold these principles as you discharge your responsibilities nationwide. I congratulate you on your achievement.
Ɔsoafo a wɔhwɛ kuayɛ nsɛm so Honorable Eric Opoku nso enya akwanya etimi kasa kyerɛ ɛyɛ mmabunu a saa bere mo ba abɔnten abedi dwuma sononko ɛne dɔm na no mo hyia no.
It is an honor to join you at this historic passing out ceremony of the maiden compliance and enforcement officers of the Tree Crop Development Authority. This ceremony marks an important milestone in the institutional development of TCDA and in the regulation of Ghana's tree crops sector. I commend the board and management of the authority for the foresight and resolve shown in establishing this compliance and enforcement unit. This step clearly signals TCDA's transition from policy formulation to firm, effective regulation and enforcement. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this unit is firmly anchored in the Tree Crop Development Authority Act, 2019 Act 1010 and operationalized under Legislative Instrument LI 2471 of 2023. Working with relevant state agencies, it is mandated to bring order to the three cross-value chains through registration and licensing of actors, enforcement of quality and traceability standards, issuance of conveyance certificates, collection of statutory levies, and data capture to support sound decision making. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a critical aspect of this mandate is the fight against illegal and unregulated activities, including illicit importation of vegetable oil and other practices that undermine local production and threaten the livelihood of over 1.2 million Ghanaians engaged in the oil palm, cashew share, and rubber sectors. Distinguished guests, TCDA was established by Parliament to regulate, develop, and promote 6 strategic tree crops: cashew, shea, oil palm, coconut, mango, and rubber. No sector of such national importance can thrive without discipline, compliance, and credibility. The passing out of these officers, therefore, represent a decisive move from policy intent to institutional authority, accountability, and enforcement, firmly grounded in law. As the sector minister, I am encouraged by this development. Let me stress that this compliance and enforcement unit is not intended to intimidate, but to educate, protect farmers and investors, enforce standards, and restore confidence in the sector. It reflects government's commitment under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to eliminate illegality, promote fairness, and ensure sustainable growth across the three cross value chain. To the officers passing out today, you are not merely graduates of a training program. You are custodians of the law. Your duties will require integrity, professionalism, restraint, and sound judgment. You operate at the intersection of law enforcement, farmer engagement, private sector regulation, and public trust. I urge you to discharge your responsibilities with courage, fairness, and respect for the communities you serve. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, government's Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda and the Feed Ghana program place TCDA at the center of efforts to supply raw materials for local industry. Through strengthening regulation, land mobilization, and expanded production, the authority is positioning the tree crop sector to contribute more meaningfully to national economic development. I am encouraged by TCDA's progress under the government's resetting agenda, particularly the enforcement of strict registration, licensing, and export permit regimes under LI 2471 to protect local processing industries and then create jobs. The commissioning of TCDA's first zonal office in Tamale further strengthens the authority's reach, especially in the share sector where women play a dominant role. Government commitment to the sector is further demonstrated through the Ghana Tree Crop Diversification Project, supported by the World Bank, under which millions of early seedlings and agro inputs are being provided to farmers nationwide. Effective compliance and enforcement will be essential to ensuring value for money and impact. Distinguished guests, the passing out of 85 compliance and enforcement officers today demonstrate that TCDA is focused and serious about its regulatory mandates. However, effective enforcement requires strong collaboration. I therefore urge close cooperation with the Ghana Police Service and other security agencies, traditional authorities, metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies, and all relevant regulatory institutions. TCDA operates under the supervision of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and is by law the lead regulator for the selected tree crops. I reaffirm the ministry's full commitment to supporting the authority in the execution of its mandates. In conclusion, I congratulate the officers passing out today on the successful completion of your training. I commend the leadership of TCDA for building a disciplined and credible authority. I urge all stakeholders to continue supporting TCDA in transforming Ghana's tree crop sector into a model of compliance, good governance, and sustainable growth.
Nananom mpanimfo a ɔmo so besi otumfo setutu asantemewura anan wɔn so de kakra etu dwa etuofo ekyerɛ sɛ
aban foforo aba ne mpanyinfo a wapa ɔmo ahwɛ ama yɛ etu ana mo bi sɛ ya na ɛfata sɛ ɛbɔ aban na ba so paa mo yɛ bɔ nsɛm ma aban na aban ɛbɔ yɛ ho kae ne nanom atete mo ama mo nkyerɛkyerɛ pa mo afa ntetie mu sɛ mo nkɔboa na adwempa ɛne akoma pa parliament ne aban mu mpanyinfo nya ya ɛde yɛ nhyehyɛ wei no ɛwo bɛba mfa so ama Ghana nyinaa na wo bɛgye tetie wie na afei akɔte ada no ɛbɛha adwen kakra ɛhɔ na mesira aka kakra kyerɛ mo sɛ nnɛ honorable minister ɛne chief executive mu adaroma ɛka aban abɔ ɔmo ho na wɔbɛkɔ so abɔ ɔmo ho yi mo ma ho mma mfa so ma Ghana man nyinaa ɔfa atade no hyɛ na de kɔgyina ɛhɔ kɔsirɛsirɛ sika ade akyi ne afrɛ wɔ aban mu na esi bɛyi ano a nyɛ hɔ na abɛba na wɔsɛ na mpa atwa odwa ato a ɔpa akyɛw ɛne ɛba saa obi ani wɔkyi na wakɔyɛ mammɔyɛfoɔ wɔde kakra bi na yɛsrɛ mo munni mo ho ni mo nkɔ mo yɛnte mo ho asɛmpa ɛmrɛ biem sɛ ɔmo a mo di m'akyi no ɛba sɛ yɛba bɛpa ɔmo ho ntoma no na yɛba yɛbɔ mo aba so aka sɛ mo yɛ ayɛyɛ nti na ɛma aban wɔ sa yɛ foforɔ ma mo nkɔgu yɛnim ase ɛda mo ase mo nyinaa sɛ mo hyɛ mo ho so adeɛ a buroni fɛ no discipline mo anhyɛ mo ho so anka deɛ mo ayɛ mo ntumi nyɛ ɛnyɛ wɔn sɛ obiara bɛgye ne krataa na n'ani agye ahohyɛsoɔ n'akyi nkrataagye n'akyi no mo ma mfa so mmra so ɛmɛgyiri sɛ ma so yɛyɛ a owura okra ɔda no sɛ nsɛm bɛba firi hɔ ba sɛ mba mo bɔ mo ho wɔden a megyiri sɛ ɔno so ɔmmɔ ne mu ngu ase yɛ sɛ ɔyɛ fata ɛde hyɛ mu nkura ɛde bɔ mo aba so biara no ɛbɛyɛ saa ɛnyinaa ne ɔno abɔ ne mu sɛ ɛnyina ba bɛta n'akyi no asa ahyɛ mo ne mu nyɛmpio ɛda mo ase
yɛhwɛ sɛ ɔmo dwuma mbɛdie deɛ ɛbɛkɔ yie no ɛbɛtoa so ama nipa foforɔ nso abɛka ho.
On behalf of all trainees, I am deeply honored to stand here today to express our heartfelt gratitude for the successful completion of this 10-day program held at Ghana Police School in Patasi, Kumasi. We are sincerely grateful to the government of Ghana, the Chief Executive Officer of Tree Crop Development Authority, TCDA, for the vision and commitment demonstrated through this capacity building initiative. This training clearly reflects our dedication to strengthening the tree crops industry and equipping professionals like ourselves with clear skills required to drive national development. We wish to especially thank the management of True Crops Development Authority for organizing this impactful program. The content delivered throughout the sessions was excellent, detailed, practical, and made easy for all of us to understand. The knowledge shared has broadened our perspective and has prepared us to handle what the CEO rightly described as a cocktail of responsibilities. We are ready for the cocktail of responsibilities within the industry. Indeed, we are reminded that the future is huge for us. And so, as this training has particularly positioned us to embrace this future. Beyond the classroom sessions, the physical training component greatly enhanced our overall well-being. It improved our health, boosted our energy levels, and instilled in us strong sense of timeliness, endurance, and discipline, which are qualities that are essential for professionalism and effective service delivery. We also value the opportunity for socialization among trainees. The interaction, teamwork, shared experiences have fostered unity, collaboration, and mutual support, which will undoubtedly strengthen our work as we move forward together. We are grateful to the facilitators for their dedication, patience, and expertise, and to the board member who also reminded us to ensure that all our actions align with the principles of TCDA. We take seriously the expectations that we all become part of the success story of this great institution and uphold the highest standards of professionalism. As we step into our roles, we embrace the TCDA's vision of expansion, credibility, visibility, and enforcement. That's the 3+1 strategy. We are confident that applying the knowledge and discipline gained here will directly benefit the institution, the industry, and the nation as a whole. In the words of the trainees, we assure you all that we will do the work the way it is expected. We remain committed to excellence, integrity, and service. Once again, thank you all for the invaluable opportunity. May TCDA continue to grow from strength to strength. Tapaya, Yedamwase. Akedami, thank you so much.
Mosomfo, Ajenim Boatin, Bonye de Share.